Hey, Lankybird here. I may have filled my bucket a little bit too full with this Steam Next Fest, so let's just jump into it. First we have Wildfrost. At the beginning of each run, you choose a leader that has different abilities and stats that have been generated. Each card you play subtracts from the number at the bottom of each of these characters, which triggers their counter move. So instead of playing energy, what you're doing is you're being careful of what you can do before the enemy has a chance to counter you. You have followers that you summon with you, and you can select new companions as you go. You can heal them by bringing them back into your deck early, and they become the basis for your combos, or act as your poor little meat shields, which I clearly was not doing enough. All the sound effects are perfection. You unlock more things back in town as you fulfill particular conditions. Everything's really cute and just really cohesive. I'm excited to see the designs of the other tribes and factions. Uh-oh, waifu alert! During a run, there looks like there's lots of opportunities to update and change your deck, which I suspect has potential for some fun jank. These charms are super cute. You place them on a card permanently to affect them. And look at it just dangle there. So cute. At first I thought the combat would be too simplistic, but I died pretty early on in my second run, so I'm excited in the future to learn and get better at this game. This is a must wish list for me. Hellcard Book of Demons is part of what's called the Archive of Awesome, which is a variety of different games that have been all placed together as a collection. What I find strange about this game is that it is intended for cooperative multiplayer with other people. And so when you go to play the single player version, it says like, hey, just a heads up, like usually you'll be playing with AI companions, but not for this demo. So I don't know if this is actually a good demonstration of what this game is. The amount of games I play with other people are very low, and if it is, it's probably going to be Monster Hunter or something, not a deck builder like this. And I definitely don't want to be playing with AI companions. I'd rather just be setting up combos myself between the different characters. You're at the middle of the circle, which designates close and far range. You don't move, but they do move towards you, and you just prepare for different waves of creatures. The basics are alright. I'm just not sure what kind of legs it has. I found the combat to get more and more annoying as it got more difficult. And the boss was definitely just silly. Just every turn spawning 2 or 3 more dudes. And maybe that's manageable with more people, but I don't know, because they didn't let me demo it with those AI characters. This is pretty meh for me. But would probably be a fun time if I played it with someone. But that's the hard thing about multiplayer games is, you know, if you're hanging out with your friends, you can make anything fun. Combo Card Clashers looked like it had an interesting concept of you're putting cards onto this grid to build up whatever, but the demo, no matter how many times I tried, just would not load cards for me. So hopefully we get a chance in the future to try it out. Moving on. Primitaria also had a compellingly different gameplay. You put out creatures with different values, and then you consume them in order to play higher cost cards. So in order to play this 3 cost card, I need to be able to consume a 2 and 1 or 3 ones. And then they are inside that level 3 card, so that if that level 3 card gets attacked and killed, then the next highest value one appears. It's definitely the first Vor-based deck builder I've played. Each creature also has a different ability, whether it be a novel way to get out into the field early, or effects upon attacking, or just being able to play it like a spell effect where you target the enemy creature from hand. It was fun playing around with, but ultimately, it just was always too easy. I never once felt challenged in this game. I would just put out my level 4 creature, everyone else that I could, and then just beat the people. The hardest thing was the boss, and even that was fine. So I don't know if that's just an AI design problem, or, you know, playing the first few floors. But I beat the game according to the demo. It offered for me to keep going, but by that point I felt like I'd exhausted its potential. The music also was very limited and repeated a lot and jarring transitions. I'd be interested to play a future version of this game that has been balanced a bit better and tightened up. Death Roads is absolutely nuts. I was not when I downloaded this demo, I knew that the gameplay would be unique, but I wasn't super into the setting or whatever. Like, it just, whatever. I'm not a car guy. I'm not a macho diesel punk guy. Blah, blah, blah. But this game is awesome, and it's the one I'm looking forward to most out of this entire list. Wishlist it now. You can customize your deck with the different equipment that you put on your vehicle. This can be weapons, driving strategies, and how your wheels work. You know, car stuff. And so you can slam into cars next to you, you can shoot them. But the thing that makes this game so awesome is that in order to get more abilities out of your cars, you have to shift up in gears. But if you lose stability, you play a random assortment of skid cards. And you play more skid cards the higher gear shift you are. And so then if you're playing all these high powerful, high shift cards and then skid out, you are going to like lose control. And it's awesome. And you can force your enemies to do this. It feels so good. I like the random elements of the skid. It lends itself to this really great unpredictability. That feels like you're going out of control in your car because you pushed it too hard. And also like seeing two of your enemy cars ram into each other because they skidded out, or if they cause you to skid out but then your skid card rams into them, feels so good. Positioning matters so much. You're navigating this field up and down, left and right, moving it in so that you can use certain weapons and certain abilities. There are roadblocks that come on screen that can insta-kill you if you turn there. So you're hoping to actually like hear boom. Oh, and the explosions, everything blows up and it's awesome. And the music shreds. I cannot emphasize enough that you have to try this game. So eventually I found a good strategy was to gear up to do certain attacks, and then I could gear down if I needed to with other cards, if I was in a riskier position. Your action economy is determined by your maneuverability, the blue bar there. And so if you play out all your maneuverability, that leaves you extremely vulnerable on your next turn. So it's always a gamble of how much do I push? Will they be able to cause me to skid out on the next turn? And can I take that risk? I thought I could take the risk, and I ended up just like veering out and destroying myself on the side of the wall. And I wasn't even mad because it was just like sick. It was just nuts. I love this game so much. And the characters, I haven't played with each character. I like how their designs are each so different, and I like the realism of the art. There's two different vehicles, and I'm sure it has different layout options, and I'm sure there's going to be more vehicles too when the game comes out. This demo is already so tight. Yeah, looking forward to this game so much. The ECS Protocol is fine. A bit rough though. I don't know why you'd play this. I don't know why you'd play this rather than like any other of a dozen games that play pretty similarly. The most unique thing is that you can exhaust cards in order to power up your gun to just straight up hit face. It has some positioning mechanics that aren't particularly clear on the screen, like how people are laid out and where people are. It could use with a little bit cleaner of UI. Feeling pretty meh on this one. But at least it has a consistent style and feel. In Verses of Enchantment, you play a poet wizard person who travels around trying to fight duelists. And as you can see, it's actually like kind of hard to get a duel to happen because everyone's like moving. It's not super intuitive. There seems to be a lot of just like half-baked stuff. The basic premise is you get to play 3 cards, and the types of these 3 cards get used in a poem for the next turn. And then most cards play off of the poem that you've written. Something like, in the previous turn, you have a majority of nature cards deal more damage. The problem is the beginning deck is extremely poorly put together. It has a few cards from each style, passion, gloom, ego, etc. And so it's very hard to actually get these combos off because they all rely on each other. If you played your 3 forest cards one turn, then the next turn you're not going to have them available in order to combo off having had a full nature turn. And you also don't get cards very rapidly. You only get one new card whenever you like chase down a person to duel them, and there's only the 3 people to duel. My suggestion for development would be definitely have either 1 or 2 decks off the bat that are at least a little bit better balanced. And maybe or you like open up some boosters at the beginning. There was only one time where I felt confidently like, awesome, I pulled off a cool combo where I played this passion card that gives them heartbreak if you play it with a gloom card, and this gloom card that triggers off of them having heartbreak. Great, that's awesome. There's only one of each card in this deck. I only got to achieve this once. The art is cool, the setting's fun, it's just a matter of seeing how well they can actually make this into a compelling game. I did not like Kingi's Gambit. It was basically just like more complicated, unfun rock, paper, scissors, where you play your cards and just hope for the best that anything actually happens and you don't die. A pretty solid, like, not interested. We are now over halfway through all these demos. Thank you so much. If you like this, please like it. Please subscribe, and let's see the next 7. Here's the current score for Meh, Wait and See, and Wishlist Now. Underscore is a exploration game where you fly around and then encounter these flying geometric shapes that resemble marine life. Instead of having 3 energy that you spend ubiquitously, in this game you have 1 of each different type of energy that causes a card to do 3 different types of things. And so it's actually really hard to get used to what is the optimal choices for the 3 cards that you'll play and how much you should actually be skipping as well. But once you get into a groove, it feels pretty good. This comes out really soon. It felt like it was missing, I don't know, something, but I don't know if that's just because the game is so chill in general. I don't know, this is a wait and see maybe. Paperback Adventures is a deck building, anagram building game where your deck is made up of letter cards that each have special abilities, and then you have to build words with them as they are drawn into your hand. It's pretty complex. You play the tiles, flip them, and however they're splayed is what sort of bonuses that are going into your defense or attack, and also determines if it's the first or last card's ability that gets used. And it's only the ability that's used that gets fatigued. The rest go into your discard. The game is really tight. I just don't like it. Because I'm bad at this. It makes my brain hurt. It's too much work. If you're into like Scrabble type games or Word for Friends, you'll probably like it. I'd suggest it for you. I don't like it. Here you can see me learning that Valorant's not a word. And instead, like, obviously it's Valiant, but Valiant doesn't use an E, it's an A, duh. There's 2 thresholds before you can beat an enemy. First, the threshold, and then you attack their health afterwards after they get stunned a bit. Like, deck building seems insane to try and do, because not only are you trying to pick a good ability, but you're also trying to balance the letters in your deck. It's like, it's so stressful. I don't know how many vowels to consonants, etc. that need to be in this deck. So this is a wish list now if you are even more of a nerd than most deck building nerds. Hostile Takeover is a deck building tactics game set in a cyberpunk world. The 2 characters that they start you off with are very different from each other. One is a gun-wielding backline person, while the other is this cyber ninja. You have to recycle cards in order to have the energy to play them at all. You don't start with any energy. Each character has their own deck and hand, but they share the energy pool between them, and you can move between them throughout a turn. All of it was really tight. I didn't experience any glitches or bugs or things that were like, why is this here? It felt very polished. The moment I discovered that the ninja could place shadow clones all over the map and then attack from them was awesome, and then that there's like abilities that scale off of that. This game had the tools to make you feel extremely clever, which is the best thing in these sorts of games. The upgrades that you can install on your characters can be game-changing, which is a lot of fun. Like here, just increase bleeding instead of decrease bleeding. Sick. Thanks, I'll take it. They'll bleed more. It's unclear if, like, is this the whole run? Just 4 enemies and then a boss? I don't mind if it's that short. That'd actually be sweet. We don't need the standard, like, 3 floors and then a crazy boss. I'd be happy with a shorter version of these. This is a definite wish list now for me. I'm really excited for it. It looks like they have lots planned for future enemies and characters and maps. Frankly, I found Cards here to be very boring. We'll use this boss battle as the perfect example. I didn't do anything particularly strategic. I just used the attack cards, and then he died. It's the fundamental problem that I found with the campaign character this night is that you start off just way too strong. Roguelike deck builders, the primary objective is to kill the enemy. The game is how interesting they make that. How complicated is it for you to actually take away the HP of an enemy? And then the second most important thing is not taking damage yourself from the enemy. In Cardseer, they immediately give you the tools to do both way too well. In dealing damage, you just have an innate ability to double your damage. Like, sure, you don't get to gain defense, but that doesn't matter if your enemy's dead. Most battles, I would just double damage and win. Kill them. Done. It's not even interesting. It's not a fun way to break a game. They just hand you this way that the game is broken. And furthermore, like, being able to defend yourself, like not get hit by the enemies, well, your basic cards, when they get upgraded, they have a stun percent. Like right off the bat, that's incredibly powerful to just turn off the enemy's next move. I was wondering if it was just the knight, so I tried to play around with another class, the mage, which their ability is they increase damage with the cards they play. I don't know. It's just deck building has come a long way since Slay the Spire, and this isn't doing anything that isn't being done better by a dozen other games, even half-baked ones that are at least interesting. Maybe I'll play around with some of the other classes when I have some time, but yeah, not doing it for me. Last of Ark is a roguelike tactics game borrowing from Into the Breach. Get ready to hear this looping orchestra for the rest of the video. Great. Splendid. Anyway, it is the only one of these games that I've gone back to after filming because I was so interested to figure out like just how janky it could be. I love it. The primary mechanic is that you are playing these units, and then when you play a unit over a unit, it absorbs one of their abilities. This is doubly important when one of the abilities is death rattle abilities, which means it triggers off of their death, one of which being increasing the stats of a random ally on the field. And you get to act before you sacrifice them. So it means you're doubling, you have insane action output in this game, and you're like making everyone's stats way stronger. It's awesome. There's so much potential for just the jankiest builds and absolutely breaking the game. And that's the important difference. In this, you can break the game, it just takes the effort and the cleverness to do so. It's not just handing it to you. Whoa, harem alert! But seriously, it looks like there's fun opportunities for progression and unlocking more characters. Looking forward to this game. Relapse is the last disappointment of the Steam Next Fest for me. It's just all sorts of the wrong type of janky. I've never seen a roguelike deck builder that deals in decimal points, making everything you do feel very small and weeny. Like, why would I want to upgrade a card to just give it 0.1 more damage? When you beat battles, you upgrade certain character classes, and then you select one of 3 cards from there. That was fairly interesting. There are summonable pals, but I don't know how much they do for you, and like, they certainly didn't make the game more fun. I just found most of the fights to be a slog, annoying, enough so that I was like relieved when I finally killed myself. There's lots of incremental, itty-bitty little upgrades you can buy between run to run. And there are like different customization options, which is cool. Even though like, wait, what? Last but certainly not least is Potionomics. In this game, the cards are for haggling for the potions that you make in order to sell them. The cards don't cost energy, but instead your customer's time. You have to close the deal before that timer runs out. There are like NPCs that come through to buy stuff, but then also named characters that you might just be able to get pretty chummy with. I think the thing that stands out immediately is how dynamic the character animations are. Like, this is full on like Disney Rapunzel level of great animation. I really like it. It kind of felt at the beginning that they just like hand you the combo. That's the only way to really play it. Set them up, reel them in, close it out. The fundamental question will be, how complex can this game really get? Does it have legs? Will it be interesting for more than just the first hour of play? I'm not sure. I think it's cute enough to like be fine with that. Like, I wish I had a Steam Deck, or that maybe this is coming out on the Switch, because I would love to just like curl up and sell some stuff and flirt with some fools and have a good time. All right, let's look at the final outcome of our demo deep dive. So make sure you check out Wildfrost, Death Roads, Hostile Takeover, Potionomics, and Paperbacks if you're that sort of person. This is just the games that I am extremely excited about looking forward. Thanks so much for going through them with me. See you around.